Search engine marketing. Does everyone know what pay-per-click is? Everyone knows? I just want to go through and just so we can get on the same page with what we're about to talk about. Those top two on there, it's hard to see, but if you're on the computer, it has a light shaded yellow behind it. That's pay-per-click. People are paying to be there. We as a company don't believe in it because if you have everything else working right, you should never have to spend a dime on pay-per-click. Another reason why we don't believe in it is because our program teaches the verbiage skills, whether it be the marketing we're doing, how to answer the telephones, which we're going to get into, everything, to put more value on what it is you offer. Meaning that you're going after a consumer that appreciates your expertise and the experience first. Doesn't mean that price doesn't matter to them, but that's a secondary thing. As opposed to consumers who just want a cheap price and everything else is secondary to them. Our program specializes in bringing in the first people, wanting a great experience, great value, high-level practice, etc. Pay-per-click, as you see there, it's price ads. It's almost always price ads, and that's the reason why it tracks. It's not that they're bad people, but they have proven tendencies. People shopping on price in healthcare no-show you a lot, break office protocols a lot, and the second you don't give them a cheap price like they thought they were going to get or want, they go to Google and write a bad review about you in 2 seconds. Again, not bad people, but those are statistically proven data that they go and do with a practice. Middle there, that's a social media platform that's Google Places. Most people don't look at that as social media, but it is a social media platform. Over 80% of consumers, everyone's done it in here. You're looking for a haircutter, a restaurant close by, whatever else it may be. You've typed in restaurant in your zip code. In this case, an Invisalign orthodontist in your zip code. And the best part about that is getting there is free. You don't have to pay anything. You just have to know what to do behind the scenes to get you there. And having a lot of reviews helps you, but it's not. It's a misconception. People think if I have the most reviews, I'm automatically going to be seen. Not true. It helps, but there's a lot of other things that go along with it. So getting there is worth another star a month, worst case scenario. Assuming the telephones go right and everything else inside the practice goes right to close them. So if any one step is dropped, you don't close them, and it's a missed opportunity for you guys and Invisalign as a company. SEO is that last one and on down. It's not on the screen. Just based on how your content's written and if the SEO is properly functioning with Google algorithms. I wanted to bring up this because we're going to go into some things tonight with our social media program. And right now, can everybody see that, or does it need to be blown up? Or are you guys okay with just the slides in front of you? I just want to make sure you're comfortable looking at the screen. We fine? Good? Okay. This currently should be whatever social media program you have. And whether you use us, somebody else, we just want you to use somebody good. We hope it's us, but as long as you're using somebody good, that's all we care about. Because there's so many opportunities for you with social media, but it's hard. What it should be doing, you should be getting new patients every month from it. And again, your people on the phones need to be asking, otherwise you're not going to know if you have new patients from it. So they've got to capture that critical data. The next thing is it needs to increase the value consumers see in what you're offering. If it doesn't do that, you're missing out on countless cases throughout your career. Because again, your competition is definitely another ortho practice, or even another GP practice that does Invisalign when people are shopping around. Because if you're shopping around online, you are competing against each other. So you have to have everything right. So how do you do it? You do marketing methods that puts more value on what it is you offer than the next guy down the street when they come across his either website, social media platforms, etc. Increase your brand recognition. Big one. Most social media platforms or programs don't do this. People in your area need to know who you are. They need to know who you are, and there's specific ways to do that. Increase your patient referrals. You should be getting patients liking stuff, resharing stuff, etc. on social media to get somebody else to go, whoa, that post is pretty cool. I didn't know they were around the corner from me. Next thing you know, your phone's ringing. Okay? Engage patients to become a fan of your practice. With you guys, once they're done, they're done. It's not an ongoing revenue stream like a GP practice. So once they're done, you want them to still remain engaged with you. Liking things on your Facebook page, resharing things on Twitter, whatever it may be, you don't want them to just go away. You want to keep them engaged because if you do, like any business, you're going to get more referrals from them over the course of time. Maybe their kids come in at a later date. Keep them engaged. And increase your search engine rankings. This is a big one. Because if your social media program's not doing it, you need to find one that does. Look for a company in your area, somebody. Find somebody that can help you. Because when we went through the different options, the pay-per-click, local search, and SEO, you should never as a company have to spend any money on pay-per-click. All that should be is an indicator to you, regardless of what people walk into your practice and try to sell you, it's money wasted. If you feel the need that you have to spend on pay-per-click, it means one thing, and that everything else from an online marketing standpoint is not where it needs to be. It's a perfect indicator, so you can tell yourself, hey, we do pay-per-click, you get patients from it. Not saying you're not going to get patients from it, but you'd rather get patients the free way, so you don't have to pay for them. Most common mistakes made. This happens very frequently, whether it's a healthcare practice, a restaurant, whatever it may be. There's very few people that know what they're doing in social media. Very few. Social media experts with corporations, some of them make $500,000 plus a year. It's a hard job. Very few people on the planet understand how it works. And one of the mistakes, you see it up here, is that if you make posts on Facebook, you think you're doing social media marketing. You're not. Each platform has its own purpose. So if you're doing something on Facebook, that's great, good. But what about all the other ones? We talk to countless amounts of doctors and other business owners who say, yeah, we do social media. If you dig in a little deeper, the response is, well, we make posts on Facebook. You're not doing social media if you're just on Facebook. We're just on Twitter. We're just on both of those. There's so many other avenues for you to grow your practice via social media. Not being involved. I'm going to pick and choose here because you guys can read them on the screen. High-level CEO, entrepreneur, right? The best are involved with their business. Everything. Whether they have to stay up till 2 in the morning at night, every night, they're involved with their business. Social media will not work. Won't work regardless of what anybody tells you or tries to sell you. Will not work if you guys are not actively involved in it. People need to see your face. That's what social media is all about. Getting videos out there. Make a video about gum disease. It only has to be on your iPhone. 10 seconds. It doesn't need to be professionally done. No one's a professional HD video company in here, so don't worry about the quality. Worry about the quantity of it. Well, the quality of those videos. But you need to pump out as much as you possibly can on social media, but in a strategic way. You have to be a part of it. You can't say, hey, Judy, you're going to handle it. And then you sit back and be the doctor and then not be involved with social media. It doesn't work that way, and it's never going to work that way. Assigning a staff member, like we talked about. It's fine to put somebody in charge of it, but if you have maybe an ortho assistant that's also doing it, maybe your front desk person's doing it, they do not have the time to do social media at a level that's going to pay off for you the way it should. Doesn't mean that you're not going to get new patients from it or have success with it, but you're always going to leave the lost opportunities on the table that you never know about. Because you need to hire somebody, and ask yourself this question. Whoever I have at my practice that's handling social media, if they went out and handed their resume to a commercial company to handle theirs, would they be hired? If the answer is no, they don't need to be handling your social media. And that's back to a high-level commercial strategy, thinking like an entrepreneur first and a doctor second. Make sure that people doing the operations within your practice could get a job doing that same operation with a commercial organization, because it's commercial. It's commercial. Lack of consistency and patience. Social media is not something that's going to explode your practice tomorrow. It may not even explode your practice in 6 months or a year. With us, we did social media and did it hard for 3 years. No results whatsoever. Nothing. No calls, no contacts. Most people by then would quit. But we knew we were doing things right. So we continued doing those right things on and on and on and on, and now we have people reaching out to us on LinkedIn. We get pretty consistent requests offline, but for 3 years, we didn't get anything. But we knew we were doing the right things. And for you, it's not going to take 3 years. Don't misunderstand me. The lack of consistency is a big problem in healthcare with social media. It's got to be done every day. It's got to be done every week. You have to bombard the internet with countless amounts of information in order for it to work for your practice. And the people that work inside the practice environment do not have the time to do it at a level that's going to maximize your success in that area. Another one that's on here that I want to briefly talk about is that third one. And that's not customizing it per social media platform. Facebook is great for contests. Hey, if you get us 1,000 likes this month, we'll give you free teeth whitening, or a discount off of an Invisalign treatment. Whatever it may be, Facebook is fantastic for that. But if you go and take that and put it on LinkedIn, you're not going to have much success. LinkedIn is a fabulous way for you guys to reach out to GPs in your area, to create relationships with them, to get them to start referring. It's a professional network. But it takes time. Messaging them, finding people in your area, it takes time that most of you do not have. Twitter, great for SEO, but you have to post it right. Instagram in here is one of the best tools that you guys have at your disposal because there's young kids on it. But you have to do funny, goofy things on Instagram. Most practices aren't willing to do it, and it's on this next slide coming, or one of the next slides. You have to do fun, goofy things. When you post about gum disease, the chances of someone taking that gum disease article and clicking like on it and sharing it with 20,000 people, there's not a high likelihood they're going to do that. You have to do that as well and post things like that that are educational, but you also have to post fun things. Whether that be stuff that's just lighthearted and you're making fun of yourselves at the office, or you're doing a big Mother's Day event, whatever it may be, things have to be posted that have nothing to do with orthodontics. Because your goal is to get them to click share. Share it with 5,000 other people, 10,000 other people. So the posts have to be made that are likely to get people to do that. And a lot of times, again, a gum disease article or a lot of things within orthodontics does not drive consumers to rush out and go, man, that's awesome. Click like, share it with 10,000 people. There's other ones as well. Yelp, health grades, list goes on and on. Have to be doing them all. And the mistakes that are made in healthcare, this is what right now most practices lose every month. And again, it's back to the lost opportunity cost. The best CEOs in the business do everything they can to figure out the money they're losing currently before they worry about going out and paying for new ways to get people in. They find out what they're currently losing. And everybody, regardless of how good your practice is doing, how bad your practice is doing, or somewhere in between, everybody loses opportunities somewhere. It may be worse at his practice than yours, or vice versa, but you've got to figure out what are my lost opportunities before you move on and try to get new people through the door. Because if you get new people through the door, that's great, but those lost opportunities are going to affect the close ratio. 1 to 3 Invisalign cases a month is lost at the practice level in orthodontics because of how social media is handled by most practices. Doesn't mean you guys may have fabulous social media already within your practice, and if you do, props to you guys. But the facts are, and this is most, and we keep these stats as a company so we can present them that are accurate. Most can see an expectation of gaining an additional 1 to 3 a month. So there's 2 ways to say that. You're currently losing 1 to 3 a month, or that's your potential to add 1 to 3 more cases a month. That's a conservative number. You don't want to come in here and say you're going to get 20 new starts a month. But on average, every practice is losing that based on how they're doing their social media program, which means, and the number's up there, that Invisalign, if you take that number, multiply it by the lab fee, with 5,000 Invisalign practices as an example, loses $108 million to $324 million on annual revenue just because of the way social media is handled. And it's hard to believe, $1 billion company, how in the world? But the facts are, it happens every day based on how social media is handled. What it takes to succeed. Again, consistency, effort, and willing to be a part of your business. And not just put it on someone else's shoulders, you handle it. Which again, and it's not a criticism, and it doesn't mean that anybody in here is like that. That happens a lot of times in the healthcare space. I mean, you're a doctor, you're back there doing doctor things, you don't want to have to deal with a lot of the other stuff. However, going back to the fact, you still own a business. There are things you have to do as a business owner to make it successful. And that's where acting that way first and a doctor second really helps the practice because of the consistency and you guys being a part of it. All this other stuff, the fun stuff, you have to customize things for every single program. It can be overwhelming because there's a lot behind it. Staff participation. We're going to get into this. Staff participation is key. Everybody has to be involved. Whether 1 week there's a bio And your ortho assistant is on an iPhone with a video saying, hey, you know, I'm Susie. I've been with Dr. So-and-so for 10 years. She's fantastic at what she does. Amazing doctor. This is what I do for her. Come see us. As an example. This is what the comprehensive program looks like. Assigned expert. I'm going to play this video here in just a second, so I'm not going to go any further into that. Monthly meeting with your staff. We meet every month with your staff to go over the assignments we're giving you to carry out. We come up with the ideas for you. We come up with marketing plans for you on your behalf. We also work with you to come up. There may be plenty of ideas you already have in place that are working. We take those ideas and add them to what we come up for you. But all the busy work and all the work that you guys don't have time to do, our team carries it out. With a person that's assigned you, you know them. You have their cell phone number, you have their email, meets with your team every single month. It's basically like hiring a high-level commercial employee and bringing them on as your team for pennies on the dollar. I like telling people that because the people we have are really, really, really good at what they do. And they handle it on your behalf, so you don't have to. All of those that you see over there, Facebook, Twitter, 48 videos a year that we do for you on YouTube, because videos, Google, for those of you who don't know, Google bought YouTube, which means they've kind of rigged it to where videos are now the fastest way to rise up to the internet rankings. Because the more videos that post on YouTube, the more advertising Google can sell, so it's all intertwined. So if you're not pumping out consistent videos, not a few a year, but it's got to be a few a month. If you're not pumping out those videos, that's a representation of another lost opportunity that could be happening at your practice. Instagram, LinkedIn, Yelp, Health Grades, all of that we handle on your behalf. And we make sure you maximize the success you're having on every single one of those, using high-level commercial strategies. Article building will help you with Invisalign co-branding strategies, which again in turn helps your brand awareness.